So today I'm going to be talking about how you can expand your definition of love. If you see me looking down, it's because I have my pages of notes. I would say over the last 20 years of my life of seeking and trying to understand love. My background is I'm a love addict. I want to feel love, I want to feel excitement all the time. And with being a love addict, one of the things that I often do is that we have had a very limited idea of what love is. And my limited idea was that it was that heightened feeling, it was that excitement, it was that passion, it was between a male and a female who really like each other. That's how I defined love for myself. So I navigated a lot of life feeling like I was not loved or I was not lovable because love comes in so many different ways. But I remember being young and wondering, am I lovable? Because no one's loving me like I want to be loved. But I had a very small idea of what love truly was. Okay, so I don't know. Have you ever, have you ever had a experience where you were like, I just don't feel loved or I don't feel lovable? I internalized it. Instead of looking at like, oh, these people don't know how to love me, I internalized it. No one knows me enough to love me, and I'm not lovable because I've never given them enough to love me. I had all of these ideas that I made up in my head. And so, with giving, expanding your definition of love is similar to the, well, actually, what it's going to do is open up the reticular activating system. So, when you expand that definition of love, that means you're going to start seeing more of it around you. So then I'm single and I'm like, I'm not loved because I'm single. And then I'm also getting love from different places and not really knowing that I'm getting it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling it. It's like when you see a friend and you're like, you have this right in front of you, and they can't see it. It was just like that. I mean, growing up, my I felt like my sister was favored. She always got a lot of things, and they always would buy her stuff and take her shopping and spent a lot of money on her. And it's fascinating. The older I get and the more I real and I thought, oh, they my parents just loved her more. Even though I was not deprived, honey, don't get it twisted. You know, they did a lot of good things for me. But I still put that as, oh, I wasn't being loved. When, as an adult, after I've identified my love languages, and one of my major love languages is quality time, it's physical touch and quality time, they interchange. I got a lot of that from my parents. Like my dad would show up to my track meets, almost every single track meet, in the middle of a work day, in the middle of a project. My father would show up at my track meets. Now, they bought my sister a brand new car when she was 16, so I was doing all this comparison thing. However, if I would have had an expanded definition of love, I would have spent less years thinking my parents love my sister more than me. And so we all have the situations that have shown up in our world growing up, thinking things are a certain way when love could have very well, and I truly, honestly believe, been in our grasp and at our fingertips. And I spent years not knowing that, and years questioning myself, and years wondering if I'm lovable. If you are born, you are lovable. My objective is to get you reconnected with that love intelligence you had when you were born, that we were all born with this love intelligence. If you're in the Love CEO Academy, you may have already gone through loving yourself to love. And if you've gone through loving yourself to love, there is a section in loving yourself to love that identifies ways that you can love yourself and the same ways that you can gauge, are you being loved? And those are biblical principles. Those characteristics are patience, kindness, honor, forgiveness, protection, trust, hope, and perseverance. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because you have that in the academy, Understanding these characteristics, then we're more than likely to see them in our life. We're more than likely to express them in our life. Because oftentimes, if we haven't created muscle memory or if we haven't set ourselves up to really know these things, it's kind of clunky. It's like, oh, I forgot they were, you know what, they were really patient with me. I forgot that was a form of love. So I want to keep this at the forefront of your mind until it becomes innate, until it becomes your muscle memory. Like, you know for a fact, like, oh yeah, this person's really kind. Especially when you're judging. If you're out there dating, and I know some of you are out there dating or speaking to individuals or trying to filter through your online profiles or talking to a gentleman to see if he's even worthy of getting a date with you. These are some of the characteristics that you really want to use, but also these characteristics are things that you want to use on yourself. Those are the core elements of love if we break the elements of love down. Now, this is where it gets good. There are absolutely so many more definitions of love. Not necessarily the action. These, what I just described, are kind of the acts of love that you can use as a filter and as a gauge. But researchers have studied love and go all over the world researching this. And there are 23 words for love that can't even be translated. Kinds of love that the words in these languages can't even be translated. When I read that, I realized that I had such a limited idea of love. I thought love was love, period. Love was love. And then love is love, and love is love would be something completely different for each one of us, right? It's based on our experiences, based on what we've gone through for life. So knowing that there are these 23 words that cannot be expressed, I knew that there was a lot more going on. I mean, there are 14 different kinds of love. I'm going to talk about 8 today, but I want to have this conversation so that you can recognize it when you're out, when you're going through life, when you're expressing to family, when you're expressing to someone else, that you can see there is love around you. And why do I want to do this? Especially if you're in a relationship or you want to be in a relationship. Most of the time, if you are thinking scarcity of there's no love around me, one is scarcity, it's not an abundance mindset. And when you think scarcity, 9 times out of 10, you receive and continue to get scarcity. So why am I talking about expanding your definition of love? If you expand this definition of love, then you will realize there is an abundance of it around you. And therefore, you will become a magnet for more of it to be in your life. It will become this flow. You will be expressing it. You will be receiving it. You will be being it. You will be receiving it. It will be this beautiful dance, this beautiful flow. Are you feeling me? Does this make sense? Type it in the comments if this makes sense to you. Are you intrigued about this? Did you know that there were 8 to 14 different kinds of love? All right, number 1, which a lot of times, this is the one that we really know, which especially if you're a God-fearing woman, this is the one you know because you've heard it, agape love. Agape love is that universal love. A lot of times we think of agape love because it's all encompassing. It's God's love. It's universal. When we think of agape love, oftentimes people bring up Mother Teresa and Gandhi and different activists who have a compassion for everyone. You're bringing it in. It's that universal love. It's when you meet someone or you see a global ambassador and they are really about humanity. They live their lives in this way. And it is bigger than you and I. That's what agape love is. It's that universal kindness, that love that goes down in record books, the ones that they write about. And like I said, the best description would probably be Mother Teresa. The stories of her just being able to reach out to others and see everyone and have compassion for everyone. That is the agape love. Agape is for humanity. Then we have eros. Eros is that passionate love, which you're probably really familiar with. You see it in movies. It's that romance, it's that passion. Also, though, I really want you to think of these, compartmentalizing them, not always thinking about them for other people, but thinking about them from the perspective of also how does that work in your life? How does eros love show up in your life? That passion. What are you passionate about? Is there something you're passionate about that you aren't leaning into regularly? Is there something that you are passionate about that you are leaning into regularly? You are expressing an eros type of love, that attraction, that passion. It's thrilling. All your emotions are involved. Your body's probably involved. Then we have a pragma, which is an enduring type of love. Pragma is the love that lasts. When you see this, it's not a fast burn. Sometimes you've seen flames light up and something burns out really easily. But then you have that log, that big long log that's been put on the fire, and it burns, slow burns for hours. That's what pragma love is. Pragma love is that grounded, it's practical. It's what you probably see when you see old couples together that are genuinely just, they love each other and they are here and they've been loving each other for years and they will love each other until the cows come home. That pragma love. A lot of people who have arranged marriages have pragma love. There's pragma love in friendships. And then you look up and you like friends for 25 years. That's a pragma kind of love. It's commitment. Where do you see commitment around you? Where do you see that? Because if you're seeing commitment around you, that is a level of a type of love. Someone who's always there for you. You being committed to you by being in the Love CEO Academy. You being committed to you by not giving up on yourself. That goes back to our expressions of love. Where are you seeing that commitment? The other one is ludus love, which is that playful love, which is flirtatious and fun. They say that it can be connected to eros, which, is that passionate love. But is it playful? Is it fun? I mean, I've seen people have ludus love with, even if it's not associated with that courting type of love. I've seen family members have that with young children. It's that playful. You're playful, you're excitable. You're not just sitting there going, yep, I love you. But you're out there playing baseball with the kid. You're out there running. You're playing water balloon fights. You're making forts. It's different than that familial love, which the familial love is, where's my notes here? Is storge, Storge. I need to plant these seeds for you because in awakening and reconnecting back to your love intelligence, we want to see these things around in your world. Most of these can be applied to the different levels and the different ripples. And I'm going to talk to you about the ripples at the end, as well as what you're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, just to activate that in you so you can see it. And then you can really lean into what is that abundance? What is that abundance? Okay, so we have pragma. I already talked about ludus. Pragma is enduring love, which is, also where are my other notes? Yeah, pragma is that enduring love. Then we have agape, which is for humanity, more of a universal type of love. Pragma is that love that lasts, that enduring, that slow burn, the slow burn. Ludus, we have ludus, which is playful. Philia is deep friendship. It's the love that develops over a deep, long-lasting friendship. I have several friendships that are like that. It's platonic. And the one thing is that you have those individuals who are really close to you, and they're close to you on different levels. So oftentimes, even a deep friendship, I know I talked about the pragma, love lasting, But even with philia, the deep, deep friendships are sometimes can be, long lasting family members who you can just call. You can call them up. You got those friends that are just there. It's not a lot of drama, but it's just deep. You may not even talk to them consistently on a regular basis, but they're there. I didn't talk to them on the phone, but I really admired this person. Like, I would see them at the deli. We'd say, "Hey, I'm looking forward to, seeing them again at the deli." It was over years. I worked at this one place for years. And so I would just go into this deli or cafe and see this owner. Like, those are the types of ideas of love we don't really see, or we don't necessarily want to label them as love. But I want you to really use that as a filter so that you can start labeling it, so you can start seeing it and understanding that there is this abundance. I already talked about storge, which is, well, I didn't go into detail about the familial love. And that's the love that's shared between family members. Sometimes you have that with your friends as well, deep friendships as well. Which of these have you heard? Type it in the comments. Have you heard any of them? If you're listening to the replay, type it in the comments. The ones that have stood out to you that you have really heard. All right. So then we have Philatia, Philautia. And that is self-love, which is one of the biggest, I'm a biggest advocate for that one. And self-love is really, really important. And we know this, and we've had this conversation about this simply because, one, you got to pour into you first. Two, you're going to train and teach other people how to love you. And that's with the self-care, with Love CEO Academy, with the other things that you're doing, you have this self-love. And then the last one is mania, and that's an obsessive love. And I'm always reluctant to put that on there, but it's real, it's there. It's one of those things that seem to be slightly imbalanced, but there's a lot of affectionate and there can be some attachment. I don't think that is a true definition, but it is a word for love. The definitions of being able to identify it is that we would go back to the patience, kindness, honor, forgiveness, protection, trust, hope, and perseverance. That's what we would go back to. But understanding that there are all of these, not at the absence of the other. Are you feeling me? Does that make sense to you? So even if you are Eros, which is that passionate, intoxicating, thrilling love, there should still be those elements of the characteristics. So we're talking about types and we're talking about characteristics. And the characteristics should always fall underneath the types. One of the things that I want you to do over the next 2 weeks is I want you to just begin to identify these in your life. One action that you can take is I want you to do an inventory of the people you spend the most time with and place them in these categories. What category of love and what characteristics of love do you feel within that relationship? So you make that list and you go, all right, what category of love is this? Then you look at the characteristics on the flip side of that. Look at what characteristics are you expressing to that person? Is this person worthy of being in your life? And if they are you expressing love to them with the characteristics that are in loving yourself to love, the characteristics of the ones that I'm always listing? I want you to identify that. And then, so that's just one thing. And then the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to consider random acts of kindness over the next 2 weeks. If there's something that happens that you activate, one, it shows gratitude and it puts you into a mindset of abundance. The random acts of kindness. You got 2 things to do. Just do an inventory of the people in your life and how you respond to those people in your life. And then this week and the next 2 weeks, choose random acts of kindness. And I want to know how they feel. All right. So I look forward to continuing this conversation with you